Welcome back everybody to the Wandering Samurai Study, in which we review and analyze every single act told in Rurouni Kenshin, and today's act is Act 7, Mark of Evil. What is there to say about this chapter? For one, it is part 2 in a battle between Kenshin and Sanosuke, or Himura Patosai and Zanza. Well, this really isn't a part 2 to a battle. Sure, there are some action sequences, but it's really Zanza or Sanosuke's backstory that we finally get here. And I love it. I think that I've always had a basic understanding of what it was that happened to the Sekihotai, but it wasn't until today where I actually really sat down and analyzed the story and the moment and sequences that occurred in the past during Zanza's flashback that I was really truly able to understand. And I think it's also that I'm a 26-year-old man now, and I'm kind of more in tune with the politics of the world and how they affect our day-to-day, and how such a thing can be connected to the past or the reasoning being told for this story. It's a very real thing. So let's get into it, and we'll start off with a chapter review or an act summary. It's round 2 for Kenshin versus Sanosuke. Kenshin realizes that Sanosuke is too tough to be taken down with a single blow, so he unleashes a barrage of attacks on Sanosuke in what he called not just the second round, but the final round. On the floor, Sanosuke recalls his childhood years during the Bakumatsu. He was a part of a mostly merchant and farmer group called the Sekihotai. The group was set up as a scapegoat by the Revolutionary Army for creating a tax break promise that the revolutionaries could not honor. The Sekihotai was dishonored, and Sanosuke witnessed the leader of the first unit and his captain beheaded by the angry mob. Awakened by his rage, Sanosuke wakes up just in time to prevent a planned assault by Kihei and Gohei. Kenshin and Sanosuke take care of the two evil men and ready for their final bout against one another. That's right, everybody. This, I hope, is the finale of Kihei and Gohei, because I think that we've just about reached the pinnacle of how bad of a villain Kihei can really be, and Gohei has not only time and time again proven to us that he is a terrible character. And I don't mean this in that he's evil. I mean this in the he's clearly just the right-hand man of his brother. He does not think for himself. He, in a moment of hostility, I guess, in a moment of great anxiety or great adrenaline, he doesn't know what to do. His brother orders him to prevent Yahiko and Kaoru from getting away, and what does he do? He says, well, there aren't any ropes, how is he supposed to do this? And Kihei, of course, has to tell him what to do. So, I like Gohei in the sense that he is a gag character, but he's also really dim-witted. And for this, I think that the anime does a better job of showing us Gohei, as a better character. But that's because Kihei isn't in the anime. And as far as Kihei goes, I think that it was really, really a missed opportunity for Kihei to not be included in the anime. I cannot for the life of me understand why he wasn't included. And it's unfortunate. Now, I got a comment the other day, and I'll have it here, saying that Rurouni Kenshin really deserves the Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood treatment. And I 100% agree. I think that if Rurouni Kenshin were to ever get a reboot or a new anime, a Brotherhood treatment type of anime, they really, really, really need to include Kihei this time. Dr. Gensai, or the Gensai Sensei, isn't even a character that is exclusive to the anime. He comes out later in the manga, just not now. I believe that his appearance is during the Raijuta conflict. And, you know, they could find a way to include the granddaughters if they absolutely must, but neither here nor there, I guess. I just really feel though that Kihei should have been included. But to trail off of Kihei and Gohei for a second, talk about Kenshin himself, I think that he really hit the nail on the head with pointing out the limitations of the Zanbato. I think that it was kind of obvious that the Zanbato is a weapon that is all flash, but not a whole lot of substance to it. It's supposed to be an intimidating weapon. Not a whole lot of people can really wield it. That's kind of why Sanosuke is so impressive with it. But really because of the sheer size, and if you just kind of put a little bit of thought into it, you can see this to be a logical explanation of the limitations of the Zanbato. You can only go this way and this way because of the pure heaviness or the pure weight of the weapon. You're not gonna go diagonally, and you're definitely not gonna bato jutsu with it. It's because of this chapter that I've always assumed that Sanosuke is an orphan, but the dialogue in this act is really just saying that Sanosuke is the son of a farmer, but we never actually see what his dad is, and because of the way that Sanosuke looks up to his captain, I've always assumed that he's an orphan. But there is really no indication, and that's kind of just my own thing. But here's a video that I made on the family of Sanosuke, and so I recommend checking it out if you are curious. But please be advised that there are some spoilers. The mark of Aku, or bad, is really interesting in just what it symbolizes as a whole and what it means for Sanosuke to have it on his back. For one, it's very obvious that the mark of Aku, or the mark of evil, is on his back as a reminder of his past, so that he never strays away from the injustices that he endured as a child. Though in this chapter we get his backstory, he still remains a little bit coy and a little bit mysterious. We really start to understand the rage and the anger behind him. He really endured an injustice by the people who promised equality for everyone. It's suffice to say why his rage is as bad as it is. They were sold out by the people that promised them a new future, a new golden era for everybody, especially for merchants and for farmers, the group that he was a part of. To be sold out by these revolutionary leaders now sit pretty in their ivory towers because they sold out the Sekihotai after not being able to honor the promises of the tax breaks that they made. The tax break in itself is a real issue that is just enough of a realistic reason as to why the Sekihotai were sold out. It's so much better of a reason than, I don't know, wanting revenge on the guy who kicked you out of his dojo for trying to use your weapon to kill people. I still very much think that the reason from Act 1 and the anime is weak. They should have kept the reason from the act or from the chapter versus the personal vendetta between Gohei and Kaoru's father. It connects to the theme of the story that the Meiji is built in a gilded age of Japan. And Sano's story just continues to supplement this notion. We see this with Act 1, where these two evil men want to extort this woman out of her property for personal gain. We see this in Act 3 with Yahiko being forced to work with the Yakuza because his mother and father were not able to make it in the Meiji era as a family of former samurai. And now we see this with Sanosuke, where his very backstory is that the revolutionaries, the ones who created the Meiji, sold them out to an angry mob over promises that were too big to keep. And if that isn't fantastic storytelling, if that isn't a just reason, I really don't know what is. And to finish off this chapter, I really just want to say that I think it's wonderful the way that Kihei and Gohei attempted to kill Kenshin with multiple guns. I don't know how he hit all of them, but how Sano and Kenshin both turned on these two evil men and said that they are the ones who really bear the mark of Aku, or evil, and they both take care of it together. kind of hinting or suggesting that Sanosuke might join the group. And as soon as that's done, the final round begins between Kenshin and Sanosuke, and we will take care of that in the next video. So if you enjoyed this review of this chapter and you want to see more, then consider subscribing to the channel and give a comment and a thumbs up to let me know that you liked it. I'm uploading every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and if I were to guess correctly, I believe that this chapter would go up on Tuesday, and so the finale of this act between Sanosuke and Kenshin will end on Thursday. So I'll see you guys then. Bye, cha.